Alright, what's up everybody? In this video we're checking out every new evolved ReZero unit from the ReZero Update 75 in Anime Last Stand. This is being recorded live. Thank you to my showcasers here, Sin, Soul, and Akaru for the first wave of units we have. So first we're checking out Echidna, or white-haired witch greedy. We're checking her out with, I think, Glitched and Glorious, Triple S everything, and no skill tree to my knowledge. I think the only unit of these first four are going to have a skill tree would be Felix with 5k kills and crit. Otherwise, no skill tree. Triple S Glitched Glorious here. On placement for 2k. She is full AoE, and no damage stat you might notice. So she has range 24.3, full AoE, 2.95 SPA, and crit chance as well. And an ability here where she can choose an ally and stun the ally for 30 seconds. Okay, so stun the ally, gain SPA per damage they have is kind of weird, and then gain range per range they have. So I'm not sure what exactly this is going to accomplish. I think she has a weird way of attacking that we might have to check out in a second here. I don't know if she's doing damage anyway, because we do have Naruto attacking. I'm not sure if the showcaser wants to put their Naruto on none, but he is important for the ability here. So okay, enough stalling. She has a weird ability. She can stun them and take SPA from them and range from them. But then Witch of Greed, actual passives here. Allies on the map lose 10% range for each affected ally. She is going to buff her own range and reduce her own cooldown. She's also going to lose elemental advantage for allies in range. So she's going to nerf allies and then buff herself a little bit by reducing cooldown and buffing range. Magic proficiency. She has no normal damage stat. She's going to only attack via magic. Okay, that's going to be through this passive right here. So she's going to attack through this passive at the bottom. We'll get to that in a bit. Using nearby allies. So every 20 range she has, she's going to have, looks like, less SPA, or like more percent buff, which is kind of a debuff. She'll attack slower. For every 20 range she has, she's going to gain 5% uncapped. Then fire magic procs 1 attack sooner. Minimum every 3 attacks. Wait. Okay. For every 20 range, she's going to attack slower, but have like lower cooldowns on her spells, apparently. Okay. Interesting. So she has healing magic, teleportation, eye, shari, and fire. We check those out here. Magic creation. She cannot change her SPA by any source, and she is set for upgrade. She is doing tick damage every second equal to her current SPA times 1 mil. Do we still have Naruto attacking? Yeah. You think, hold on, you could throw Naruto on none, by the way, just to see. But either way, we'll see if she has an attack animation in a bit here, hopefully. And cosmetic, by the way, if you're wondering, Echidna dress on Sin here. Thank you for showcasing. But okay, if you keep reading about this, this is going to be if Forbidden Arts is used, that's scaling to 3 mil instead of 1 mil. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like an ability to upgrade 8, but pretty much these are her different spells here. So fire element unit, she has a like fire attack, fire spell, by following up on them, and sunburn on follow-up. Okay, blue flame on follow-up as well. Interesting. So she's gonna have follow-up attacks every 7th attack. It alternates between sunburn and blue flame. Healing magic is a water element unit, is going to cleanse the debuff and stun per cleanse. Wait, cleanse debuffs and stun, sorry. If cleansing a debuff, range is buffed by 25 seconds. Okay. If cleansing a stun, the water unit now applies stun. Okay. She's a debuff cleanser, a fire buffer kind of. Nature element, she's going to gain an active ability. Interesting, hold on. Can I check that out? I can. So, paying for magic creation, she's going to choose an ally and buff them by 100% damage and 50% range. Okay, not bad. That was with a nature unit in her range. And then, if a dark element unit is in her range, she's going to gain another active and light element. Okay, so dark and light. I don't have light, but I do have dark, so she's going to gain Castle of Dreams from dark. And that is going to be apply restrict, expose, and negation to all enemies for a minute. Okay. All damage from this unit is 1.5 times more effective. Another debuff, which is not bad. Another debuffing ability. I want to have a light unit real quick. I don't have a light unit. Okay, thank you. Grammy Visionary. Thank you. Eye Shari, she had. I'm not sure if he can replace real quick. I didn't actually catch that in time. But yeah, somebody has Grammy if we can place him down. Forgot he cycles. Wait, what? Could you place Grammy? Yeah. Let's see the ability if we can. There we go. Okay, 4 million damage times upgrade 10. Upgrade times 10. Okay. Kind of like a damage, like a nuke thing, which is really weird. Yeah, so 4 mil times upgrade times 10 or times 100, depending on what upgrade she's on. It's a little nuke, tick damage nuke, and buffing light element allies by 20 times light allies in range percent. So up to a lot of percent for 100 seconds. Okay, cool. So a lot of buffs from her, like active she gains from here from the magic. But she has a follow-up that is going to buff burn, cleanse debuffs, and then a bunch of other stuff buffing certain elements. Okay, cool. Sorry for how much I've been just reading the passives here. If you want to upgrade here, upgrade time. Remember, whatever, jump. If that works. That works. But, let's see here. Looks like she just gains range and SPA. I mean, she can't gain damage from anything, because she's like a weird support buffer unit type of thing. We're here? Ready to upgrade? Yeah, we're good. Okay, sorry. A little bit weird on this showcase, sorry. I'm kind of talking a lot or having delays and stuff, but she does have a lot of range here for her like spells to cover, I guess, but new abilities on upgrade 8. So she gains Forbidden Arts and Teleportation. Okay. Wow. This is a lot to read. She's going to have requirements here, 200 range, max upgrade, and 10 / units clone summons on the map. So we gotta place down a bunch of people. Unlocks all passive regardless of elements. Okay, so all passives. She's going to increase magic creation damage scaling from 1 mil to 3 mil. Player now applies both effects from the follow-up, okay. Healing magic now applies to all allies with no cooldown. Permanent effect. Okay, she kind of buffs up her spells. If we can go ahead and place down a bunch of units, y'all mind spamming units down real quick. Anywhere on that. She doesn't have an attack animation herself, so I'm just going to disable people's attack animations for a second. While we place down a bunch of things. So, should have the requirement now. Yep, should be good. Alright. Want to use soul transcription. This should be her final ult thing. No, wrong one. Forbidden Arts. Forbidden Arts, Forbidden Arts. Hopefully he sees that in time. So let's check out her final buffing passive here. There we go. So we gain teleportation. This is the new ability. Everything else is just from the passives. Permanent now. Very, like, a lot to talk about in this unit. Sorry, very lengthy showcase. Select a place on the map to teleport this unit. If you need TPs outside of her current range, she can do 500 billion damage to the entire map. Cool. It is a TP, and anywhere on the map. It can also be a 500 bill nuke on a 500 gold cooldown. Not bad. Kind of a good debuffer, I guess. Pretty crazy. Pretty, like, wacky, weird. But not bad. Thank you, Sin, for showcasing. Moving on from Echidna. Strange buffing unit. Moving on to Catboy Healer, or Felix. Thank you to Soul for showcasing this one. This is going to be, again, Glitch and Glorious, triple S everything, level 85. And I believe this is the one with 5k kills on the crit skill tree. So a little bit of stuff going on for him. But pretty much, Glitch Glorious, no skill tree, kind of. On placement for 230, very cheap. Okay, what's a dentist's favorite time? Okay, on placement he is a full AoE, doing 3.31 mil 5.63. Soaked effect, hybrid unit. Passive here we have Blessed Water Protection. So, another one where he can choose a unit with his ability. Buff the unit by reducing their SPA by 40%, make them immune to stuns, and also have like an extra damage every 5th attack. Okay, so he's gonna be a buff from that ability, 90-second global, not bad. Catalyst. On entering range, enemies are marked with a catalyst when attack, and okay. When they get to a certain HP with a mark on them, they have these effects applied to them. Very good effects for debuffing, actually. Cripple and Expose are both good. Detonation and Mutilate good for damage. Body Manipulation. Every 20 applications of this right here, so they're just the mark above them, I think. He's going to apply Petrify and Unstable. Not bad. Petrify is a really good one for support. Keep going, keep going. King Sacrament. Okay, last passive. Enemies killed in range have a 10% chance to resurrect as a summon. Summons have no HP, instead they cause up to 10 enemies to walk back for 10 seconds. Okay, Rewinding Summon. Each enemy can only be affected once per summon. We check that out. It is happening right now. With the Felix model. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, so it's going to rewind enemies apparently. In the Infinite we're in, I always choose this one for good lighting. They're going to be too weak to actually show that off, so don't get to see the rewind probably, but attack animation on Felix, looks like there is one, but it's kind of like hard to tell. It's not matching the full AoE for sure, but little like water attack. Keep going on the upgrades though. Thank you again to Soul for showcasing my Felix here. This Felix, not mine, but you know, for my video I guess. Looks like nothing new on any of the upgrades, like same attack, same ability, but 1.09 bill or 5.63. I mean, nothing crazy. These are good debuffs. These are two right here, you know, every now and then the Petrify is good. Cripple and Expose are good for debuffing. King Sacrament, this is a good rewind, I think. Every now and then you'll get walk back for 10 enemies. Pretty solid. Very cheap, so like 600k, not that bad. But overall, just a buffer, reminder, nothing crazy. Thank you again, Soul. That was Felix. Pretty good. Moving on, Divine Knight Protected. This is Reinhardt. Thank you to Akaru, I think, for showcasing this one. Yep. Have the blessing on him right here. Got the sword, the outfit, the aura. Pretty nice. Oh, where are my graphics at, by the way? Hold on. There we go. Okay, now it's right. I figured as much. Okay, he's got a lot of passives. They're all pretty brief, though, thankfully. Thank you, whoever made this guy. Whoever made this unit. Thank you, developer. Okay. Perfect Seal element on placement, 5k, Glitch Glorious, triple S everything, level 85, you know, basic stuff, normal showcase stuff. Pretty good damage for 5k, but yeah, not cheap enough to be a starter. Holy Defense of Stun Immunity, he's immune to stun. He is turning debuffs into buffs, so debuff reversal, okay. He's going to... Wait, what? Have double the buffing potential? This might be insane. Okay, buffs directed to him are 2 times as effective, that's actually crazy. Or 2 times more effective. What does that look like? Do I have my idle real quick? 30% range, 40%... Yeah, okay, double the effectiveness. Beautiful. Fully defensive bypassing. Bypasses any form of defenses, including nuke resistance, shields, and special effects. Okay, I don't think ALS has shields, but, well, in a way it does. It's a weird way. But, okay, interesting. Fully defensive tick damage. It deals 50% damage in range every second. So, full AoE like Cosmic Dust Storm back in the day, Garo, you know. Fully defense of anti-sell. He cannot be sold or deleted by outside sources. You can probably sell him yourself. I think you can still sell him right there. Fully defense of the elements. Okay. He's going to absorb elements from enemies entering his range, gaining fire. He's going to take 80% extra burn dot... Oh, enemies take 80% extra burn dot damage, sorry, and apply sunburn. That's a really good debuff. Oh my goodness. Imagine this with like Benimaru. Okay, hold on. Water. Flows are 80% This guy's insane. He's actually insane. HP drains are 80% slow. Okay. Water is slow with soaked. Nature, HP drain with slow. Light, weakened and stun. Dark, debuffs are 80% stronger to the enemy. Wow. And apply despair and pressure. This is insane, actually. This is like actually insane. This passive right here, crazy. Best passive out of all of these. I mean, this has a crazy ceiling if you use it right. But anyway. If any enemy of that element re-enters his range, the effects are reapplied. Wow. Okay, after Holy Defense of the Sword is activated once, all these effects are permanent to all enemies. Broken! Actually OP. I'm guessing that's his ability? Yep, upgrade 8. Okay, we'll check it out. Right now, Circle AoE. Mana Reaver upgrade 3. Upgrade time. You ready? Remember it's jump. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of trying to speed type if I had typos there, but you know. Mana Reaver upgrade 3. To attack is... What animation? Can we catch it? He's doing full AoE, so we won't be able to see it. I'm sorry. If you were really hyped for the attack animation, I'm very sorry, but we won't be able to check it, so... Keep upgrading if we can, though. Dragon's Roar, upgrade 6 now. Okay, he's doing like full AoE, so we can't check what his attacks actually are, but full AoE now. Fully Defense of the Sword, max upgrade. What are the requirements? 1 trillion total damage dealt. Good. Actually good. Because if this was early game, like if you could get this bottom half of his passive early, that'd be way too OP. So, okay, 1 trillion damage dealt, that's fair. 3 or more unique elements on the team. With current meta with Rimuru, not a tall order, I don't think. I mean, he's gonna be one of the 2 non-godly units you have, so... If it counts a perfect seal and neutral, you're fine. But okay, not bad. We obviously can't use the ability. If it has an animation, which is ALS in 2025, they haven't been dropping abilities animation, so it probably doesn't have one. But hopefully the showcase is enough to give you the idea of what he does, and he's really good. By the time you get 1 trillion damage, we're not doing this in the normal infinite we're in, sorry. This is a really good buff. He's really strong. I'm sorry we can't show off the animations, you know, but really strong. Thank you, Akaru. That was Reinhardt. Okay, the last unit for this section, before we hop into a new run and check out Subaru and Ram, we have Ladies Man of Love. This is my Regulus here. I've got Push and Glorious on him, no skill tree, triple S everything. He is a perfect seal, placement cost of 2k, as you can see right there. If I do say so myself, pretty good stats all around for perfect seal and placement 2k. This is actually like, not meta early on my tier list because he's not cheaper than 1k, but he is good, really good. on placement. Pressure and fear, very, very good. Roaring Heart, he's immune to debuffs. He has a time stop every 60 seconds, so kind of on placement, I think, right above him. Roaring Heart, right there. He's going to have a 15 every 60, so 15-second uptime every 60, with extra 1-second cap per wife unit, and that's going to be from one of his passives right here. We'll get into that, this right here. But yeah, he can get up to 10 extra seconds on that Roaring Heart time stop, so 25 every 60 maxed out. Not bad at all. Material Control. This is going to be a very long passive to read, and I don't know if I want to read the full thing. I'm sorry, I'll try and paraphrase the best I can. When an enemy is time stopped, or he is going to stun a unit, so if a unit is stunned or an enemy is time stopped, he's going to gain effects based on the element that they were. So he can, for neutral, deal damage in range like a full AoE thing, and have a chance to apply bleed as well. Tsunami, he does like a little mini nuke every now and then, and does soaked, and increases bleed type dot damage, really. Okay. If you absorb nature, you get Hurricane. He gains Wind Shear, and enemies under Wind Shear take 20% more attack damage, really good debuff. A lot of good supports this update. Fire. Increases burn type dot damage for all units in range by 50%. Constantly applies scorching range. We have seen this update. I'm just going to give you guys already, I'm going to make a video on this probably. Benimaru buffed like crazy. Like actually, not directly. They haven't like gone to Benimaru and changed his stats, but a couple units we've gotten this update are a crazy buff to Benimaru. If they work how I think they do. This fire buff specifically, you know. And then Authority of Greed, gain the total debuff damage from mid. Okay, this is also pretty crazy. So, Perfect Seal, that's going to play into his other passive here with the like miniature monogamy passive thing that he absorbs damage. But it'll pretty much cancel out the damage debuff he's going to apply, which is right here. Miniature monogamy, up to 10 units within range are marked with wife. If they are marked with his wife, he's going to lose damage, they're going to lose damage, he's going to take it from them. If you have the, you know, Perfect Seal right here, if he absorbs a Perfect Seal. But he's going to debuff their damage and make them attack faster. So overall, if a unit in his range is marked with wife, it is a net positive. You gain a buff of 40% SPA. Also a net spend of 20% damage, you lose 20% damage. And then a Miniature Monarchy. Once you have 10 wife units there, you're going to gain all of his material control passives right here. Really good. I think this guy's actually really solid. If you have every, like, enough units in his range to kind of trigger the wife thing or whatever. But, pretty good. Right now, upgrade 3, line AoE now. And his attack animation seems to have disappeared, but you know what, I don't really care. I do have the cosmetic on, by the way. I think it's pretty drippy with the right avatar. I don't know, not on me, but it looks pretty cool. This one, Circle AoE Hydro Blast upgrade 6. He's maxing out for 500k, pretty cheap. A lot of cheap support units this update, doing 1.3 bill, but the damage isn't that crazy, because, I mean, he's got a lot more going on. I think this guy's really good, especially for Perfect Seal. A lot of support units this update, but that was Regulus. Moving on to, I guess we'll do like Subaru and Ram next, but yeah, there's Regulus. I think he's pretty good. Pretty good. Moving on, we have Suzuki, Return to Owner, or Subaru, Return by Death. So we have, I believe, maxed out crit tree, yep, judging by the 45 crit rate, maxed out critical skill tree. Neutral, on placement for 600. He is triple S everything, glitch race level 85. And thank you to, hold on, Showcaser, right here, Aura. UN9X, showcasing this one. Look at the cosmetic on him. But, Subaru here, we're gonna go through the passives before we get into the upgrades. Okay, he's got 3 passives, 2 abilities. We do have 4. I don't know why I can't count. 4 meters above his head. Death Return, Greed, Stun, movement, damage. Self-inflicted Death Return. So, on activation, reduces HP by 2 per second. This is Death Return HP probably. And unit dormant HP until reaches 0. He reaches 0. And he can, I guess, respawn if we want to use that one day. I don't know, we'll use that eventually. Greed, second shift. Upon activation, he's going to set stuns, damage, and movement counters from authorizing greed to 0. Okay, so all of these get set to 0. Which... okay. Tracks the amount of debuffs. If you take a look at, like, I'm hovering over him now. Stun debuff for stun, movement debuff for movement, so like slow for that one, stun for that one, and then like exposed or shred for this one for debuffing damage, okay? He can max out the meter, and when you use that, he's going to time stop the entire map for the amount of stuns times 2 divided by enemies on the, okay. A bunch of crazy nerd math. I really don't want to read every multiplier out on my own, I'm sorry. So take a minute to pause and read every multiplier if you want the extra, like the exact numbers of them. Pretty much he can time stop the entire map. He can deal a lot of damage on the entire map, and then permanently slow by a certain amount, quite a bit, cap of 50% on the entire map. So pretty good. He has a nuke, time stop, and slow ability. And if there aren't very many enemies on the map, he will deal an extra 10% max HP with a cap of 5 trillion. Very strong for boss killing there. And add 15 seconds extra to time stop. Okay, so really strong nuke, really strong time stop, really strong debuff, especially for boss killing. Keep going on the passives, go through all of them. Death return, he has an HP bar right there, cap of 100. Minus 3 HP per stun received, so if he gets stunned, he loses health. If he gets debuffed, he loses health. When he hits 0, he resets to 100, and it permanently gains 10% damage uncapped. He can have infinite damage. Not lose HP for 15 seconds, and walk back all enemies for 25. Okay, so walk back as well, rewind every time he gets down to 0 HP, and a buff to himself. After the walk back, he's going to time stop enemies for 2 seconds with a 50 cap, depending on every stun they've received. For every debuff they receive, they take 5% more damage for 60 seconds with a cap of 200. So he's going to have even more rewinding, time stopping, and damage debuffing here. Yeah. Very, very good. And then if an enemy is affected 3 times, send it to spawn. Max 3 per enemy. Okay, so full map rewind if he affects him with death return 3 times. And he can deal... what? 1.5 times stacks percent. Okay, so up to 4.5% max HP damage, I think? Yeah. Up to 4.5% max HP damage with a cap of 1 trill per trigger of this. Okay, so he's got good percent-based stuff, rewinding stuff, damage buffing stuff, time-stopping stuff. Sloth. Attacks twice on a separate timer. The extra attack only hits enemies within 20% range. It deals 250% of his damage at 2 times his SPA. So like a little mini follow-up attack type of thing. We can see probably a counter above his head. Yeah, authorizing Sloth right here. Authorizing Greed. All stuns, debuffs, and negative effects taken by allies in range are redirected to him, so it's going to lower his meter down. Tracks 3 counters, cap 200 each, stuns, damage, movement. Those are the counters here. So he wants to absorb stuff from your allies. He wants to take their burden and take their debuffs that they get. Okay. Pretty cool, actually. So the like stun, movement, and debuffing stuff, this is all for stuff applied to both him and the enemies, I think, which is pretty cool. I want to go through the upgrades here. Witch's Cheap Shot upgrade 4. He is currently a circle AoE, becomes a, looks like just an even larger circle AoE, slightly larger. And maxed out upgrade 7. Next attack is also a circle AoE. Maxed out doing 1.6 bill for 3.33. Looks like no new abilities or passives, but I mean, pretty strong overall. Really good infinite unit, especially if you like trigger his return by death fully. With the right team, very strong for everything, I think. Overall, very solid. He is neutral, but really good for supporting stuff. Lots of supporting stuff this update, but thank you again to UN9X for showcasing Subaru here. That was the main guy himself. Finally, we have a Rem and Ram. Rim and Rom. I guess audio is going to be a weird showcase, but thank you audio for showcasing as a cosmetic. But it's going to be pretty weird because these guys are 2 units kind of. You place down Rem, and then you use her ability here, which is Rom, and it places down Rom next to her. Placement cost, by the way, of 4k. She is a Glitch and Glorious unit, triple S everything, and looks like no skill tree. Thank you again, audio. But yeah, it's going to be a weird showcase this time. I don't know. Starting off as a line AoE with some form of alternating effects. Let's check that out. This is Rem, the blue-haired one. If Ram is buffed, she's also going to get the same buff, okay? So, again, same thing on Ram. They kind of share a buff that way. And if they're stunned, they gain damage and are immune to stuns until that ends. Okay, so they're sharing that passive there. They share buffs, and they kind of buff each other when they get stunned. Saying on Ram, though, or no, sorry, Rem, the blue-haired one. Morningstar, attacking an enemy with Rupture, apply Mutilate. I don't know where she's getting the Rupture from, maybe from, yeah, looks like from Ram. Okay, so she can apply Mutilate, which Ram will have Rupture to proc this, and she's going to attack 5% faster, 20 seconds, with stacking up to 25, so 25% attacking faster, pretty much. And becomes full AoE for 2 attacks, and then resets the SPA buff if Ram is in range. Okay, cool, cool. So she is a full AoE conditional here, reducing her SPA and becoming full AoE. Pretty much all you need to know. And Rupture applies Mutilate. Really strong. After 8 waves on the field, she gains 75% damage. This is with the full buff, so right here. Attacking 20% faster, 50% range. You can see all that right now. She becomes immune to stuns, and Ram gains Rupture. So that's actually, after 8 waves, is when you can actually trigger the Morningstar passive with Ram gaining Rupture here. We can see that right now, because we're on wave 93. Ice Magic. This is the third Rem passive. Every 3 attacks immediately follow up with a 100% damage hit, so she's going to every now and then have a follow-up. She's going to cycle between 3 of them, one of which is a cone AoE with freeze and bleed, another one is a circle with frostbite, pressure, and weaken, and then the final one is line AoE, blizzard, and crippled. And if this is active, so if one of them is buffed, I guess, or if they're stunned maybe, is going to occur every attack for a minute, local of 90-second cooldown. Okay, so I guess, I don't know how like the self-buffing triggers this passive or not, but pretty much she has an alternating attack, which can happen pretty often. Then we have Ram here, so top passive, same as Rem. This is the pink-haired one now. Clairvoyant can attack outside her range, doing 50% less damage if the enemy has hemorrhage. Wait, what? Okay. Who has hemorrhage? She doesn't. She has dismantled. Rem has dismantled. Ram has wind shear and then rupture if you're wave 8. Okay. She can attack, doing 50% less damage, full AoE, map wide, like, not full AoE, but anything outside her range. If they have hemorrhage, she can do full damage. Okay. Alright, I was kind of caught up by that one. Illusionist. Whenever enemies enter 50% of her range, she's going to slow them by 30% and take 40% more damage until they leave the area. There is maybe an indicator for that. I don't really see, like, usually there's a circle line around them on the floor, but I don't see it. Whether she has, like, too much range maybe, or because she's infinite range technically. I don't know. For some reason we can't see the circle, but, well, hold on. Her range is, okay, whatever. But really good debuff there, kind of like Aizen. Wind magic. Every 3 attacks immediately perform a follow-up. Okay, so kind of like Rem's follow-up as well. One of them is a line AoE, wind shear, bleed, good damage. One of them is a full AoE, pretty good damage, wind shear, dismantled. Finally, really good damage, full AoE, and stun. So, same thing as Rem here. If the top passive triggers, she gets more follow-up attacks. Really good damage from all these follow-ups. Okay. Check out the upgrades here. Does it upgrade one at a time, or is it going to do both? Rem first. Start with Rem. I don't know where it went. Yeah, it goes to just Rem. Okay, so they're separate upgrades, so they are going to have pretty expensive collective total cost, probably. Upgrade 4, new ability, Ice Barrier. She's going to... Wow. Okay, so every ally, 50% damage buff to enemies with a freeze type dot applied. So she's going to freeze them, I think, from one of her follow-ups here, from a couple of her follow-ups, and she can buff them by 50% as well. And then new attack and upgrade 6, she becomes a... Is she full AoE? It looks like she's full AoE, and then we have her follow-up attacks kicking in. Oh shit, I might be lagging now because we're in wave 100. But full AoE and final upgrade. Total cost of, okay, 600k. Pretty expensive for just Rem. Let's check out Ram now. Next attack was Furrow Blast. Looks like he went through a few of them already without us looking. That's fine. It just got her new attack, line AoE. She becomes a full AoE on full Furrow, upgrade 5. And she also gains Cripple. And a new ability, Oni Awakening on upgrade 7. Total cost of, looks like, probably same as Rem, 600k. Okay. Total cost of 1.2 mil, 600k total cost for each of them. Oni Awakening. If you want to use Awakening. Or I guess both. I don't know, we'll check it out. It's going to crazy damage buff. Disable her wind magic passive, which is right down here, her follow-up. Okay, apply a random bleed type dot every attack. Every 5 attacks, walk back all enemies. So really good mode. And she stuns herself after, which is actually going to buff Rem because of like the passive they share. But really huge buff here. It does cancel out her follow-up attacks, but should be overall an increase in performance because you get the stun especially, or the walk back especially. Really good. And then Rem, we use the frost barrier, but that one didn't, I don't think either of them had an animation. She just has a like buff to stuff that's affected by frozen. Enemies take more damage. But okay. Really good overall. This update was, in my opinion, really cool unit designs. Good job, developers, whoever made these guys. I'm very happy with how they turned out. A lot of supports, a lot of cool buffers. I think the meta is going to be very in favor of Benimaru now, especially with Reinhardt and, what's his name? Regulus, this guy. I'll have to check those out in a video probably. But these guys are all pretty strong. I'm going to turn off the attack animations now because it's actually like lagging, but very cool. These are all good. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, this was recorded live, so I don't know. Maybe tune into live streams if you thought this was cool to check out early. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.